Hey YouTube, I know it's been a little while since I put out an update. I've been doing some work. Yeah, I got a raised bed on the way in. I had to go grab some more cinder blocks, but I had it most of the way built. You can see I'm on slanted ground, so I had a little bit of a mismatch. It's not really too bad though. It's only that little mismatch right there. And then this corner's mismatched a little there too. But it made it all meet up decently at least. I think it'll be okay. I have to, that one underneath looks like it needs to scoot it in just a little bit more though. I'll do that here in a second before I continue on. And so let me tell you guys how I'm going to fill this thing. I want to break anyway. I'm kind of tired. Been moving around a lot of stuff, plus I still haven't got my rainwater system all the way set up, so I've still been carrying out buckets. But rainwater system on the works too. I'll show you guys how I built that. Pretty easy. I had to watch a bunch of videos because I'm not very technically savvy, but I'm sure people who are more savvy and have used more like PVC and gutter type stuff, who've done more with that kind of stuff for their houses, you guys probably be able to figure it out real easy. It really didn't take me that long. Look at my cat. Probably gonna get in there and take a crap in there or something. This is gonna end up being fenced off, so they can't get in and just mess around. But I gotta buy some more fence stuff first. So I'll go ahead and tell you guys how I'm gonna fill this thing. It's basically, I think we're gonna use, this is 40 cinder blocks. I think we got maybe about 20 more. We'll have it filled all the way in, you know, roughly. It's not, maybe not quite 20, but pretty close to that. So yeah, like 20 more cinder blocks. So 60 cinder blocks. They cost me $1.38 a piece from Lowe's. That was the cheapest place I found them, other than me driving to like a masonry place really far away. But there's a couple close to us and they weren't any cheaper than Lowe's, so I just said I'll just get them from Lowe's. It's kind of annoying to load. I got, you guys can't see it, but my left hand, I damaged, had a little surgery on it, so it doesn't really, I mean, it does stuff, but it's not as good as my right hand. You guys can kind of tell. So I can't really grab on these cinder blocks like that with my left hand that good, so I used only my right hand. And I wore gloves for part of it, but most of it I just did gloveless. And man, my hands are raw. My like that little skin between your thumb, like the little webbing or whatever it is between your thumb and your index finger, it's raw, man. After just 40 of these, so 20 more though and we'll be done. They are 16, I think they're either 16 by 8 by 8 or 18 by 8 by 8. Obviously the 18 or 16 is a long ways. I think it's 18, not 16. But maybe it is 16, I don't know. But nevertheless, we're going to put them stack them two high, like so, interlocking like so, except for that one down there where I kind of messed up, but that's okay. It's good enough. I'm already on slanting ground here because I have a well right in the middle. Well, not in the middle, but closer to that side over there. But in the garden bed, I got a well down there. It's a filled-in well. I also just busted off I had to use that sledgehammer. I had to get a sledgehammer and bust off. It's like a little rusted off iron bar that would look like a pretty big stabbing hazard. So I broke that off. And basically what we're going to do is I filled this up. It's a little higher in some places, like I said, because of the well. I haven't really put too much dirt in here. There's a little dirt in there that I had to use to level off the ground a little bit, because like I said, this is super unlevel, and I wasn't really going to sit over here and play with this all day. I would have had to dump, you know, a whole cubic yard of dirt on this ground. And by the way, I got that dirt cheap. I went to Birkdale Mulch place in town. So if you guys have a local mulch place or gardening center, definitely grab topsoil and compost from them before going to the store, because it's going to cost you about twice as much, if not more. I found a deal at Tractor Supply where it's like $2.50 for a cubic foot of topsoil or compost, and like that was still, even if at $250 per cubic foot, it's still twice as much as getting a $30 cubic yard. It was going to be about 80 bucks, $70 or something like that for a cubic yard, buying it in bags. And I'm going to use a few cubic yards, so it's fine. We're doing good. So basically what I did to save some money is I filled the bottom of this with hay and straw. The hay that I just put on, the green stuff that's kind of on top, like you see, like there's some more yellowy stuff down on bottom, that was just straight straw, no seed in it. The other stuff that's on top I think is hay. It does look like it has a little bit of flour in it, but as long as I cover it up really good with dirt, it shouldn't grow anything back through like 8 inches of dirt or more. So we should be good there. It'll be almost a foot down by the time I get all the dirt packed down on it. I threw a couple pieces of wood out of my yard, a couple worms in here that I found loitering around under some pieces of wood. I got a few more pieces I cut off of that tree the other day over there. I got to bring over here. So I'll just go grab them right now. But what we're going to do is we're going to put dirt down in these holes. And you can see these holes are pretty big. We're going to plant carrots and maybe like garlic, onions, anything that's like a root vegetable that doesn't grow super tall tops on it, we'll plant there. And then the line back will be whatever's taller. It might still be onions or whatever. And then probably at the back of this bed we'll have strawberries. And then we'll have another bed in there too later. And I brought out some cereal and stuff, just a bunch of random stuff that I don't need that I'm going to throw in the pile. I'm also going to throw my huge compost pile in there, a lot of cardboard and stuff, and just get in there and walk around on the cardboard. It'll kind of pack all this hay down, because that hay looks like there's a lot of it in there. There's really not. It's 2 bales. I mean, it is a decent amount, but it's more fluffy, so once we get dirt on there, it'll pack it down. So yeah, I don't know if y'all have heard of this. I think it's called Flugen culture or something. Cedric probably knows about it because I think it's like a German or something thing. So right over there, you know, in that same region, like the technique is basically where you're trying to do it cheap. You throw in like cut weeds and thistle branches and tree branches and fill up the bottom of the bed with a bunch of junk that you wouldn't usually think of as soil. I'm going to put compost in mine, but it's not composted down yet. It just, you know, it's just scraps right now. It's just a big pile of more hay and some vegetable scraps, but it's not very broken down yet. So yeah, I'll probably throw a lot of that stuff in there right here, and throw a couple more branches in there, and we'll shovel in most of this topsoil. I'll go ahead and put in there today. I'll fill up the holes, the bottoms, probably like the bottom cinder block all the way around. I'll fill up with dirt, at least most of the way. It'll keep them sturdier, and it will also make it to where when I come back with the compost, they're already filled in. I can just put compost in the top layer, and then I can put a little bit of dirt topsoil in there too. Compost and topsoil, and just take them and mix them together. Most people put perlite and stuff in. I'm not going to. This is pretty much going to be it. I'm going to just throw in a bunch of cardboard, a couple more branches. I'm going to stomp it all down. I'm going to put topsoil on top of it. I'm going to save a little bit of the topsoil on the ground here. And when I bring the compost, I'm going to dump the compost right on top. And then I'm going to put the compost in. And the topsoil that's on bottom of it will go in after. It'll almost be kind of mixed in already as I do it. And then I'll kind of till it up. I'm going to get a pitchfork to turn it. And I'll just take and turn it all for a little bit. Get that topsoil and compost kind of blended. And then for these, I'll just take my hand and kind of swirl it around in there. Yeah, but I did have like an iron bar right here that I had to knock off with the sledgehammer. I threw it in the woods over there because I got like over yonder I got like a graveyard of a bunch of metal stuff. Like my uncle, I think, dumped like car parts and stuff out there. So I was just like, yeah, I'll just throw it out there with all the other, it'll be in its home with the rest of the metal. That's the metal forest. But yeah, it was about right here somewhere. And what I did is I just took, after I broke it off, I took some dirt and packed it down on top of it to where, because it was still a little bit sharp. That way it'd be like packed on it instead of just like loosely around it, so there's not like an open space there. Packed the dirt down on there, and then I took a little brick, like the little red bricks that are like handheld, put that on top of there, and then I put all the hay down on top of it. I'm hoping as I shovel in dirt, it should weigh it down. It should just stay there. That way that brick will be kind of in the way. I mean, I don't think I'll ever go digging my hands that deep into this garden bed anyway, but just in case somebody forgets about it or something. But yeah, that's about it today, guys. I guess I'll show you. Steve's out here. Steve likes to help me garden a lot. He just sits out here and messes around with anything I'm messing with. But I figured I'd show you guys. Got some tomatoes coming off of the tomatoes. Go ahead and show you. I guess I'll show you the peppers too. Peppers I topped the other day, and they're all coming back nice and bushy. They should be a bush by next year. They're not really going to make any fruit this year. I'm honestly surprised the tomatoes are, because we've had a hot summer already, like early on in the year, and usually they'd be like done by now, or like already making like some decent sized fruit by now or whatever in our summer. This little tomato plant, I think what I did, guys, is I'm not really too experienced with gardening outside. All the garden I do usually do it inside. So I mulched these guys with some hay, and I think I just put too much and packed it down. So if y'all do put some mulch and it's like your first year doing that, just make sure you're a little bit careful. Just like kind of, you know, you want the mulch to be like a loose layer on top. Even if it is 2 inches thick, it needs to not be like shoved down in there. And I think that's kind of what I did, is because I took it out of a straight bale of hay. And next time when I mulch something, I'm going to shred whatever it is. Shred the hay, leaves, whatever I use as mulch, grass clippings, don't matter. But just make sure it's kind of like a uniform, you know, quality. But yeah, we got Pride and Joy tomato back here. It's growing some nice flowers, and it's really bushy. But yeah, this one is dying back, but it should come back. Even this one that, I mean, it died back like all the way. And look, that is a new growth on top, and this one right here is the new growth, and this one. And I think this one's about to come back and have a new growth too. So yeah, I think we're good, guys. Figuring out the whole gardening thing. All the spices look okay, except for the thyme. That's what that is in that little bucket. It's not really growing profusely yet, but everything else is. Been harvesting a little bit of the stuff. And yeah, that's pretty much all, guys. I'm going to get on with my raised bed. No fish tank check-ins or pond check-ins this week probably, until I get this raised bed all the way done. And then I'll have my rainwater system up too. I'll post a video on that. I probably won't show you me doing it, but so much as I'll just show you the finished product. It's going to be up there hooked to those gutters, and it'll be around the corner. I'm going to get it off the ground with some cinder blocks and hook a hose to it, and then it should be a lot easier for me to water the gardens instead of me getting tap water buckets and watering them like that, because we have had a drought for the last like 3 weeks. So yeah, guys, I'm gonna put some compost, branches, and dirt in here. Have a good day. Sorry I'm shirtless, guys. It's hot as fuck out here. Give me a like, subscribe. Thanks for all the recent subs. I mean, it's a lot for me. 31 is like, that makes me happy. So thanks, guys. Peace.